Nice. Welcome, everybody, to the SideQuest, your favorite video game podcast of the week, of the month, of the year. I am Dolly Domofsky. Joining me is Aaron Scratty Bones Kelly.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, and it looks like it's just us two today.
Apparently, I'm friends with a lot of people that do different podcasts, so I get to see the process from a lot of different angles. Some of the most professional ones tend to schedule guests weeks in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, friend of the site, the Hashtagonist.
Yeah,
Pretty sure he's got his show booked like weeks in advance. And then the counter to that is I'm literally yelling at people on Twitter right now to show up.
I love that. That's the way to do it. That quite realistically is the way to do it. Please, somebody join us on our podcast. You'd think we'd be a little bit more organized, but
we've been doing this for like, what, 30 years at this point?
Something crazy like that since podcasts began. Yeah. Well, it's funny because you're drinking something right now. You said you're drinking some tea.
Yeah.
And the way I have my room set up here, first of all, you'll notice a little bit less echo from last week, only because I'm switched to headphone this week. My house is still incredibly empty, but I've switched to headphones, and I've got beautiful Eastern European. Oh shit! This has a tiger on it. Blankets covering every section of this bedroom, this room, just so I could get a little bit less echo going. And my freaking drink is way over there. So if I disappear for a second, which I will in a second, you'll know that it's me trying to get my drink. So, Aaron, how are you doing? Tell me a medical story. Do you have any this week?
I'm still recovering from the sickness from the other week, which has mostly abated, except it developed. Did I tell you about the sinus thing?
Yes.
So that's
during the pre-show of last week, I think.
So that's mostly abated, except it's all focused right up in here right now.
Ooh.
So if I'm sitting perfectly still, even if I'm talking like this, I feel totally fine. The second I stand up and start to move, it's like a migraine just slamming through the front of my head.
Ah.
Yeah. There's nothing I can do about it because it's just one of those things. I got to wait for it to clear. But other than that, I'm healthy.
Well, I'll give you. I actually have a medical update for myself this week. Surprisingly,
really,
it's more than this week. It's been building over the last couple of years, actually. So, a couple Aprils back, we went to on a cruise for my daughter's spring break, and I had something which I refer to now as the dolphin incident. It's stranger and sadder than what you're thinking. So what happened was that we did one of those dolphin excursions where you get to ride and pet dolphins and stuff, swim with dolphins in an enclosed pool. So I decided, I'm gonna plop some money down and do this. So the three of us get in the pool, and basically what happens was they have you swim out. You put on a flotation vest and you swim out to a life preserver. You swim out to the middle of the pool, and you hold your hands out sort of like zombie style or Frankenstein style, and the dolphin will swim up underneath you, come up, and its flippers will be right underneath where your hands are. So you guys are watching the video, you can actually see my hands way out here. It'll come right up to where your hands are and then it'll go backwards. It'll take you to the back to the edge of the pool, and it moves really fast. And everybody's having a great time. It's a blast. And I'm the last person. There's probably about 20 of us or 15 of us in this group. I'm the very last person. And I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be pretty cool. Dolphin comes up, and flippers come up, and I grab the flippers like I was told to, and it jerks backwards. And I felt what amounted to like a weird, I don't know if it was a pop or just a very strange sensation in my upper shoulders, right here, right where the top of the shoulders. I lost all feeling in my arms both my arms at that moment. Dolphin got me to the edge of the pool, and here I am struggling to swim over to the ladder to get back up onto the side of the pool because both my arms had gone completely numb. And obviously, you can't sue a fucking dolphin. That would be a great video game, by the way. How to sue a dolphin. Struggled to get out of the pool. My hands were numb. Got the feeling back after about like 10 minutes or so. And the strangest thing now is over the last couple of years, every so often, if my hands are up past a certain height, they will just start to go numb. And I'll start to get like little pins and needles in my hands. So I can't play games in bed anymore. Like I can't play the Switch lying down because my hands will go numb. I'll have to like shake them out. So if I'm playing games and stuff, I have to shake my hands out. If I'm doing sketch work, you can see my, for those of you on the video, you can see my Wacom tablet right there. Because of how that's set up, my arm is up high to sketch. Can't sketch for a long period of time because both my arms will go numb. And yeah, it's not a good sign that after 2 years, my arms are completely going numb. So I think I should go to the doctor. Probably
so is this why you're a DJ for weddings, so you don't have to do the YMCA?
Yeah, maybe. I have to lead it. Well, if I do the YMCA, it's only for a split second, right? So I should be okay doing that. But yeah, it's been the dolphin incident has wrecked my physical life. It's really coming to a head lately when it's affecting my gaming. So I think I'm going to head to the doctors here in the next week or so and get this thing figured out. But that's the only medical update I have. I'm no longer sick or anything, but
that's not where I thought that story was going.
The dolphin incident. Maybe that'll be the name of this episode. We've been playing games though. The games that I have been having a chance to play, we can talk about that. Stuff that hasn't been numbing me. As I adjust this here.
Wait. Before you go, can I go first?
Oh yeah, sure.
I didn't play anything. Go ahead.
Oh really?
Yeah, I got nothing. I've been working on other shit, so I haven't even turned Persona on.
It's gonna be one of those weeks, which is I guess that's okay. Unless somebody will join us, but you never know. I've been playing a few games, actually 3 games for review. I don't know if I could talk about one yet because I don't think it's actually out.
Type it in the chat.
Okay. Well, they're all. You probably never even heard of this one. In 3, 2, 1. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Okay, there you go. Well, the other 2 maybe you've heard of. One is Assault Android Cactus Plus for the Switch that released last week. And that's years later, that's still a good ass game. It's still a really fun, well put together game. I think it's been on every platform at this point. Didn't it start on like PC, Steam, and like Xbox 360 years ago? It may have been on XBLA. But it's essentially this sort of top-down twin stick shooter set on a spaceship or space station, and you play this android or any android you'd like to pick, and it's like a bullet hell twin stick shooter. It's actually a lot of fun, and it still holds up really well. It actually, because the visuals aren't 4K, and it's been years since the game was initially put out, so the design and stuff has aged. It still looks really good on a TV, and I actually played it on the handheld version of the Switch where it looks just fine. So yeah, it's a great game. It's still really good. I would strongly suggest picking that up. It's just kind of a nice game to just chill back and try to get the best score. Or grade in this case. You get graded on your performance. So that's good. And then I've also been playing Swords and Soldiers 2, Shawarmageddon. And that is, have you ever played a Swords and Soldiers game, Aaron?
I have not. Is it similar to Advance Wars?
Weirdly, I guess you could kind of call it that. It's sort of a 2D tower defense style tactical game, I guess. More 2D tower defense. So the first one was good. The second one is actually fantastic, and I think I actually played it the first time back in like 2014 or something on the Wii U, or 2013, whenever it first released. And now it's on the Switch. It's still a gorgeous game. It's got a little bit of humor. It's essentially Vikings and goblins and Persians all kind of thrown into the mix here, but you command an army who's trying to get over to the other side of the screen and destroy. If you're playing in the campaign mode, you're just trying to get to whatever the goal is. You're playing in multiplayer, you're just trying to beat up the other team's like home base, I guess. But you collect resources, you send out army, you send out little fighters and stuff, and you can upgrade them during the battles. It's actually simple, but it gets really hectic really fast, and it actually becomes really difficult really quickly if you're not prepared for it. It's the same with Assault Android Cactus. Both those games have initially are very easy to understand and get into, but they have very steep curves when it comes to mastering and challenge, I guess. So they're the kind of game where I can see people getting frustrated playing them, but at the same time, they are really fun. If you're dedicated to it, you'll get a lot of good experiences out of it. But yeah, Swords and Soldiers too. Great visual style, great humor, great writing. I really like the battle mechanic, just 2D side-scrolling tower defense game with Vikings and goblins. Though it's a lot simpler than I'm explaining it, and it controls really well. So I'd suggest getting that one. Both of these are playing on the Switch. Both of them are a lot of fun. I think they're both under like 15 or from $20 something. But good games. And then I did get into a new clicker game.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to load it up here. It's an iOS clicker game because that is a fantastic way to play these types of things. I don't know what it is about clicker games, but I will plow through one until I get far enough along where I think, okay, I think I've managed the majority of this game, and then I'll drop it and move on to the next one. And I look for them as quick as possible because I do think that they're, individually they'll wear out pretty quickly. And I will probably only play a clicker game for about a week and a half, but then I'll get into the next one and be just as sucked in. This is He-Man. Let's see, He-Man and the Tappers of Grayskull. So there is a freaking He-Man, which I'm kind of showing you guys right now.
Wow.
Shitty visual. There is a He-Man game that is just a clicker tapper game. This is on iOS. I don't know if it's on anything else. But it has all your favorite He-Man characters. And what I do like about it is, and I strongly hope that other game developers take this into account, but instead of having to tap nonstop, and I'm tapping like bad guys right now, you can probably, I'm doing the worst thing possible, which is holding my phone up to the camera so you guys can see. Instead of tapping, you can actually just hold your finger and drag and slide back and forth.
Oh, nice.
And that is fantastic because I can just kind of sit there and just sort of take my finger and just keep, scrubbing as I'm doing other work or watching TV, and so that I don't have to actually freaking, not to freaking do other stuff. So it's good. I like it. There's a lot of great ways to upgrade your characters, and it's, of course, clicker games are only as good as the previous clicker game, and yeah, it's super simple, but I like it. So it's free.
I've been having a very difficult internal debate.
Okay, what's that?
I could put off paying my power bill.
Oh, geez.
And get the Division 2.
I'm hearing good things about the Division 2, although it has a fucking ginormous. If you have the physical version of the game on PS4, it has like a 90 gig download day one patch.
Yeah, I think it's less than that. I think they revised down the size of the patch or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's a massive day one patch, but I want to play it.
I want to. I just don't have this freaking time. I've gone through this time in my life, and I've mentioned in the past, but we're moving, so we've been cleaning out shit in our house, and now we're selling old games that I'm not playing anymore. I figured it's about time I just got to clear a lot of this stuff out. And I found a ton of games that I had lying around that I had never played before that are really collectible. It's like a bunch of N64 games, Game Boy Advance games.
I can't hear you.
It's awesome. And so I've been just selling shit like crazy. Holy shit. Look at that. Look at that beautiful mane that just happened to show up. It's Jeff Grubb, everybody.
It's Jeff Grubb, and I'm pretty sure he can't hear us.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. Fuck Jeff Grubb.
I can't hear you. What have I done?
Nothing.
What have I done?
What haven't you done?
The whole you guys can hear me. I can tell that.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can tell that. That's really. I mean, what else matters?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
I can just try to read lips. Yeah,
you learn to read lips.
Crime board behind you. All right, you guys ignore me while I try to fix this.
Fantastic.
It's my favorite thing. I'm never taking that down.
I think out loud. It's just going to interrupt you guys every time you try to have a conversation without me.
What I love about
this is not working, huh? That's weird.
What I love about that crime board, Eric, is you have like Jeff Grubb lying on his side, freaking Burt Reynolds.
Oh yeah. Let's see if I can get. Let's see if I can push my chair a little bit and just get a better shot.
Look at that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see it. Oh, I know. I know what you've done.
Let me see if I can zoom in.
It's hard to get the details because it's stupid Google Hangouts, but there's definitely Nessie there, and there's me riding Nessie. Okay, hang on. All right, I'm gonna leave and come right back. Hang on.
He's not wrong. There is a post-it note right beside that says "same hair, possible Sasquatch," pointing at a picture of Jeff Grubb.
Did you Photoshop these, or did you find them online somewhere?
No, I found them.
There is the Jeff Grubb conspiracy website. He is linked to all sorts of QAnon shit, apparently.
This guy right here is actually an author named Jeff Grubb, who I theorize is the same person as Jeff Grubb.
Mm-hmm.
Which you can see here. That is the alien from Men in Black that rides around in the people suit. Maybe Jeff's one of those.
Could be. Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Yeah, there's a whole board of it.
I love it. It's fantastic. It's something that I need to put together for Steven Strum.
You can't really see it down at the bottom, but there's a news article talking about drifter murders in Colorado. That most of it's blacked out. Down there at the very bottom, there's a bit that links Jeff Grubb and Mike Minotti to the Illuminati. Down at the bottom,
the Illuminati.
Fucking Google Hangouts. No, it's everything else is working. This is just not working.
Jeff can't hear us still.
You can't hear us, Jeff. You can't hear us.
Yes, you're saying I'm Daly, and
I have a
I'm
big
like Master of Disguise, which is unforgivable in the eyes of God.
Turtle,
that's what you're saying.
Turtle, yes, Master of Disguise is a fantastic.
If I hold my hand right here, Jeff has no idea what I'm saying about him.
We could just do this. Is great. So, Jeff, tell us a little bit about what your daily life.
The audio on these headsets here.
Oh, okay. Now we're gonna get the full tour. Let me grab one of my 30 plugged-in headsets. Maybe it's in the streaming headset. Streaming headset number 1. Hello, Jeff.
Is it
okay?
Is it
no, still nothing.
Streaming headset. Is it
guys,
on the?
Oh, this is not. I'm not okay with what you're. I'm not okay with it.
Oh, this is incredible. This is going so much better than I could have hoped.
Yeah, you can't hear it.
Okay, that's it right there. Huh? Look at that.
Hey, what's up?
All right, so now I just Well, now I've unmuted it and still.
Jeff,
are you okay?
All right. I'm gonna try one more thing, and if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna leave you guys. I might sing a song before I go, but then I'm gonna leave.
Yeah,
I'm so happy that this worked out like this.
This is perfect.
Jeff? Nope. He's gone. Is he gonna come back?
He said he's gonna try to come back. Yeah. He's gonna try one more thing and come back.
Oh, this is amazing. Yeah, this is awesome, and I'm so very happy right now. But he does raise a good point. We've really got to figure out Twitch.
Yeah, yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we'll. I do have a little bit of free time coming up this week and weekend. So I'm gonna, Aaron, I'll sit with you and we'll try to figure this shit out for Twitch.
Yeah. Well, you have to get.
I can't. I still can't hear you.
Oh, sing. At least sing a song. Sing.
Happy birthday to you. I'm just joking. I can't hear you.
No, it's our 10th birthday, actually. Yay.
How you guys doing?
We're good.
Did I ruin the whole podcast?
No, this is awesome. Can you actually hear us now?
Yeah, I totally can. Yeah.
Oh,
sweet.
He was just fucking with us the whole time.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, actually, I could. Yeah, exactly. I could hear you the entire time. I was just like, I really enjoy.
He's like, thanks for the bank count numbers.
Yes. Yeah, technical malfunction. I think that just really makes every podcast better.
What do you think of this side of the board, Jeff?
So, from what I can tell, I mean, first of all, that's the real Jeff Grubb right there. I've always been impersonating him. He's really. I've tried to take over his life for years. It's been difficult. I don't know. It's still. I'm trying to get the whole thread. I think I've gotten most of the details there. I don't see any map of any drifter bodies though, which is why there. Okay, so there is one.
There is one. It's down here.
Okay, see that's the one I've never seen. All right,
and right there's an article about it from the Colorado High Times.
Well,
the Colorado High Times.
I mean, really, just a Pulitzer-winning outfit if I've ever heard of
the Colorado High Rise.
Well, never mind. That's the messenger's fault right there.
And there's the picture of the Orb of Power.
Oh,
There's your Stream Deck.
That is where I draw my energy from.
There's of course the all-seeing eye. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Figured you out.
Beautiful. My wife really likes it though. She's a big fan.
I don't know if I've actually told you this, but when we were coming up with this, your wedding pictures were some of the ones I was toying with using, and I opted not to because I knew you'd be okay with it, but I don't know your wife.
She just thinks I'm going to end up in prison eventually. Every time anything like this comes up. So
he knows.
I was like, I could do some work with that ET picture, but I don't know his wife, so I'm not going to use it.
That's smart thinking. That's good thinking. She probably would have been fine, but she still would have been worried. Like they're just going to get you in prison.
Yeah. You and Paul Manafort.
Yes, exactly. Well, I do more time for sure than him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Hey guys, just letting you guys know, Tim Hortons has the roll up the rim to win, and motherfuckers, read and weep. I won free coffee, babies. For the first time in my life, I've won something on Tim Hortons. Roll up the rim to win.
Do you have Tim Hortons in Colorado, Jeff?
We probably do. I've never been a big Tim Hortons guy. We definitely had him in Ohio, and you're Canadian. You have to. You're all cousins of Tim Horton, basically, and that's true. That's not like on like a nationalistic level. It's just you guys are all definitely just related to Tim Horton.
Yeah, it was very incestuous.
Yeah.
Hey, all I'm saying is that first cousins ain't illegal up here. You know what I'm saying?
Got to support the family. Yeah, for sure. So you guys play video games or what? What
we it's funny because we talked about the video games that we're playing. Aaron's not playing any, and I'm just playing a bunch of clicker games.
I played House Party. Let's talk about that, and then I'm going to go take care of my family.
House Party is an incredible game.
So do you guys know what House Party is?
I don't.
Aaron, you do?
I absolutely do.
So this is a game that came to everyone's attention because it was a controversy when it came to Steam. It is a game where you are at a house party in the suburbs of a college town, and your whole goal is basically to just get laid. It is an adult game.
Holy shit.
And I played it because I was making fun of it, and I realized I'd never really played it before. And my cousin has played 65 hours of it, and this is a cousin I don't like, so we can make fun of this person. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm actually just going to give it a shot because maybe it's just like a BioWare game that's been fleshed out, and people and it's just that part where it's just like, oh, I'm trying to sleep with this character like people do in a BioWare game, which is totally cool with me. I forgot that there's the P button though on the keyboard. Yeah. Do you know what the P button does?
Oh yeah.
Does it P?
No.
Okay, Dally, it's pretty close. Why don't you keep guessing?
Does it skeet?
Eventually.
Yep. I think that's V after P.
I think you have to hit the number 1 key on the keyboard to begin pleasuring yourself.
The
P button exposes your genitalia to anyone at any time, or to nothing, or you can do it by yourself.
Oh my lord!
You just get in the closet and do it if you want.
Yeah, get in the closet, which was would be preferable, but you can also just show it to anyone at this party. Which
I know what this game. I now remember hearing about this game. All right, good. And
that's sexual assault, brother. So
it is.
That made me pretty uncomfortable. But the game's also pretty boring after a while because it really is. It's not that fleshed out of a BioWare romance thing. You are basically just trying to fill up the meter until the person says they'll have sex with you.
This would be fantastic if it had BioWare levels of relationship building.
I mean, it's not too far off, honestly, because what do you do in a BioWare game? Like a Mass Effect, I feel like I just always talked to what's her name, the lady from the show who has the butt, and I talked to her enough. Yeah, Miranda. I talked to Miranda every time I got a chance. Anytime there was a new dialogue option, I would just do it. I would avoid the dickish ones, do the nice ones, and eventually, at the end of the game, she's like, "All right, we're gonna die, so let's do it." I'm like, "All right, cool."
You're like Mass Effect, more like Mass Erect. Am I right?
That was what I was going for there.
And in House Party, you talk to Frank, he doesn't like alcohol.
Yeah.
and then you just find alcohol and give it to him so nobody can have it, and then I think he gives you a blowjob.
Yeah, he's bisexual, so he'll give you a blowjob, which is like, all right, that's, I mean, at least they got that in there. And he's like, not,
at least it's consensual.
Yeah, oh yeah. And so my understanding is most of the sex is, and when you say most of, when it comes to consent, that's a problem. I think there's one option where you can blackmail someone into having sex with you. Again, sexual assault. So it's just like, oh man, I was like kind of half going into this game thinking I could probably come out of this defending it and saying, oh, there's room for this. That stuff's just not okay. Like I don't know what else to say. And again, like the game itself is boring because you'll figure out one path to get to one person. You'll have sex with them, and it's like, first of all, the sex is super creepy looking. You would imagine video games can't get kissing right. They're probably not going to get copulation right, and they don't. Whenever she's on top of you, she looks like a spider monkey, and it looks like a horror film more than anything romantic or sexual.
It's like sex in real life. Then is what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's a good one. At least when I'm doing it, for sure. Yeah.
Well, and the best part is they don't disable the interaction button. So in the middle of sex, you can just initiate dialogue with the person you're having sex with, and it's just the standard dialogue.
So I think they've updated that. So when you do that now, it was change positions basically. They still react to you the same way. They're like, let's not less talking, more doing, or whatever. So they don't know that you're about to ask them to change positions, but that's how you do it. Still, once you get through it one path, it's like, am I really going to concern myself with doing this for every single character in the game? And the answer is no, especially because it has there
are 26 characters at that party. Something like that.
It's probably like half of that, but still that's a lot. Like what's the difference between 13 and 26 in a game like this? It's not that much. There's it's not a terminal, but there's an option in there where you could just hit the tilde key and it brings up the command lines, and you could just start popping in different stuff to do whatever you want to the world and make everyone super drunk or make everyone really want to be with you or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah. So I played the game for 3 hours, did all that stuff. My Google is yelling at me, and then I did all that and I was done with it. I just can't imagine how my cousin played it for 65 hours. That's the one thing I still.
Oh, I can imagine.
I guess.
Yeah, think about that.
So I have a question. Go ahead.
No, but yeah, go ahead and ask your question then, because my point's kind of enough.
No, go ahead and make your point, because mine's a tangent.
Okay, so I can see if you are someone. He's older, my cousin. Again, we can make fun of him. I don't like him. He's older, and I can imagine. I mean, he's got a family, I guess, and I could see maybe being if you are remembering house parties of your youth and you're lonely and you just want to get that atmosphere, that vibe. The game does an okay job of recreating that, of the feeling of a house party, the way people talk. I mean, the ambient dialogue is awful. They're just saying random nonsense all the time. A lot of the writing is really bad. Some of it's it gets as good as just okay. But just the atmosphere of being in a house where people are there to hang out and drink and maybe try to have sex or whatever, all that that vibe, it does an okay job of that, and I could see maybe being enthralled by that to a point. But again, it's it falls apart really quickly just because everything is so samey. All the dialogue options are pretty much the same. The way into everyone's pants is pretty much the same. You're just filling up their bucket until they say yes, and it's it's just not very. It's not much more than what you think it is. In fact, it's probably exactly what you think it is. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
so got that game factor in there, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, my perception, that game is especially bad for me because my perception of what a house party is so wildly different to what happens in that game.
Like an igloo,
Canada, though, right? Yeah.
Well, ice fishing.
I'm Canadian at first, so number one, no hot tubs.
Houses.
No hot tubs.
That's right.
Yeah. But number two, I'm from the Maritimes, so we have this ingrained in our DNA proclivity to just end up in a kitchen. Everybody at a party will end up in the kitchen.
That's not that different from Ohio, to be fair, and Michigan, I'm sure. At the end of the night, it's the place where you can, if there's beer on a carpet and you're standing in it, it's uncomfortable no matter what. If you go in the kitchen and there's beer on the floor, you can wipe it off the linoleum. It takes 2 seconds. That's easy. So I think the end of the night, if you would want like a well-lit place and you know you're going to be near the booze and you can keep an eye on everyone, the kitchen's where you end up. That makes sense.
But that does, and that's very good reasoning, except for the fact that when people party here, everybody just has their own booze. So it's not like everybody's booze is in the fridge. Everybody just has their booze with them. People are walking around with like cases of beer, like quarts of rum or anything like that in any room in the house. It's just people will gravitate to the kitchen, not for food, not for anything like that. Kitchen might have a table and 2 chairs and there's 25 people in there all just standing in there drinking, like leaning on stuff. And it's like, and then eventually somebody goes, why are we all in the kitchen? And then everybody and the kitchen in this is empty, I think.
I think the reason I end up in the kitchen is because all the other rooms have like couches. And if the couch seats are all taken, it makes me uncomfortable to be standing in a room where people are sitting on a couch. So if I'm standing in a kitchen where there are some chairs, it's like a table, and like it's okay to be like standing and leaning in the kitchen. Like everyone else is going to be standing there, you know that for the most part. So it's like we can all like look at each other. I don't know. I'm trying to reason this out. We don't really need to figure it out. But no. I don't know what "from the Maritime" means.
The Maritimes is the set of provinces on the east coast of Canada. So New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Labrador, PEI.
Fair enough. Okay.
They're collectively called the Maritimes, and it's
I know PEI is Prince Edward Island. I know that because I watch hockey. So there's enough hockey players from Prince Edward Island that I know that.
True. Sidney Crosby's from like down the road. He's a hockey player.
You think he's ever had tacos?
Well, he's gone to the States, so I assume he has.
So if you came to America, you would definitely have tacos.
If I went anywhere that had tacos, I would certainly try a taco.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if it was one of those things. All right. So it is just a matter of accessibility. Okay.
So I was going to mention something, and this is as I'm bouncing around over here. You brought up BioWare real quickly, and then that kind of got me thinking about how we role play in games. And I don't know if you guys have ever thought about this at all or had this experience, but when I role play in games, I instinctively go to and Jeff, you kind of mentioned this, kind of being taking the good route with Miranda. I instinctively end up going the white knight hero, good choice guy in every fucking game in every game I play that has any sort of branching path or anything. I can't be that asshole. I always try to make the quote unquote right decision, and I haven't been able to break out of it. I don't know if you guys have ever come across that, but I cannot break out of being trying to make the right decision every time. Even if I know that the story could be really, like I know Fallout 3 had some really great things if you were an asshole in that game, and every game these days, especially open world games, lets you, it's kind of tuned to how you do things. But I don't know, instinctively I go towards that good path. And even if I'm playing a game called House Party, I may try to fill up their buckets, but I'll try to do it positively and give them flowers and open the door for them instead of the other way around. I mean, do you guys ever come across that kind of experience? Or
I'll answer this, and then I'm gonna go. I definitely was always that way. I think I probably still am. But I definitely purposely played the bad guy in Red Dead Redemption 2 when it came out. I thought it would make it more interesting, and I was like, I bet most people are going to play this pretty good, like a white hat for the most part. And I want to see what happens, how it's different if you play it as a purposely villainous person. And it kind of it was a bad game at that point. It was just not. Yeah, it wasn't like there was less to do. It felt like the game world didn't really care that I was being bad. It was still trying to give me the same story as it always was, which I think it does when you're good. But the story's definitely
you get more better shit when you're good, right?
I think so. Yeah. There didn't seem to be. I mean, I think there's probably like a reward if you go all the way evil, but it's hard to do that as well because the game sort of forces you into these scenarios where you're being good. All right, my baby's crying. I'm gonna go take care of her. Thanks for having me, guys. I'll play some more sex games and come back on next week, maybe.
Sweet, I like that weekly sex talk with Jeff Grubb.
That was Jeff.
That was Jeff. But yeah, I haven't been able to do that in games. I have to break out of it. I think whatever the next whatever the next RPG or open worldish game that I play, that's on my giant stack of games here, I'm gonna have to try to do something a little bit more negative and push myself, or not negative, but to push myself to be more of an antagonist, and try to tune my experience that way. Because even with things like, I was playing Dishonored a few weeks back just to kind of load it back up onto the PS4. I played it on the Xbox 360, and then obviously went to the PS4. version, and I realized that as good as the game is, I found myself trying to sneak more and not kill as many people. And the nice thing about Dishonored is that there's this sort of balance that if you save too many people, then there'll be more rats, and that whole kind of mechanic. Instead of just going in there and just lighting up the like Doom or Wolfenstein, lighting up the everybody, pumping them full of bullets. So I'm gonna have to break out of this. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm a broken human being.
I'm weird in that, like, I tend to play those games the way I would act in real life.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So, which means most of the time I'm following the good path. But if somebody rubs me the wrong way or does something that pisses me off, I'll fuck them up. Like, I told you the Red Dead story, right?
No, maybe. Go ahead.
It was like super early in Red Dead. You set up the camp and then you go to Valentine, the very first town. And I was just walking in Valentine. I was on my horse and I bumped into another dude's horse, and he was like, "Oh, I can't believe you did that." And I was like, "Oh, sorry." And then I'm standing there, and the crowd is like looking at you like, "Oh, I can't believe that guy." And then a sheriff walks up to me, and he's like, "We don't need any troublemakers in Valentine. Why don't you get going?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fair." And I turned to walk away, and then as I'm like 10 steps away from him, and he goes, "Yeah, you get gone." And so I just turned around and shot him in the head.
You're like, you don't fucking talk to me that way.
Exactly. I was like, listen, I was ready to go, and you wanted to get the last word in. Bullet in your head. And now I got a gunfight in Valentine going on.
Role playing. How to actually role play. We'll have to figure that out.
Back talk me.
Well, let's talk news, because I think there's got to be some news floating around, right?
Yeah, there is.
We'll transition to some news.
The one I'm going to hit first is the one that's been hot today, and I don't really have anything on. It's just a rumor at this point, but apparently Sony is in talks to acquire Take-Two.
Really?
Yeah, this has been on the wire all day, and
for the last several hours. Oh wow! Sony. And actually, go ahead.
Actually, I wish Jeff was still here, because Jeff has actually been talking about this on Twitter all day. But basically, apparently the discussions are quite far along, and it's looking like they'd be buying Take-Two at $130 per share, which would be billions of dollars to buy the whole company. Something like $2 billion. But I think that means they would get Rockstar with that. I'm not sure how that.
Rockstar, Firaxis, Hangar 13.
Yeah.
Even others as well. The 2K games, the sports titles, everything. That is massive.
So that's a rumor right now. Like, there's no confirmation, like no news has come out, but that rumor has been circling all day. So I just thought I'd throw that in there, because
that alone has sent the whole industry, because you have stuff like, wasn't Gearbox, doesn't Take-Two publish, or 2K publish Borderlands?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And there's the the NBA, the only good NBA game. You got the WWE games. You got Red Dead. You got all this kind of stuff. It's really, really crazy. I guess if Sony's having issues with game releases, this could be an early shot at the next.
Well, and also it could be a response to the fact that Microsoft just bought like 5 studios over the last year, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't call those major. They bought studios. They didn't buy a freaking publisher.
No, that's true.
I think there's a big difference there. I think. But, wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
We'll keep that one in the sights.
Yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on that as time progresses. Actual news, though. I'm going to start off with the best story of the week.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Dwarf Fortress has come to Steam.
Yeah, buddy, with actual graphics.
Yeah, so it's kind of bittersweet. The two guys who make it had basically come out and said that the reason that they're doing it at all is because they have medical expenses, and in the turbulence that is America, they're not convinced that they can stay on top of them. One of the two is on very expensive medication, and they're basically like one serious accident away from not being able to cover both of them. So that kind of sucks. But Dwarf Fortress with graphics on Steam.
It's been a cult game for so long.
I used to play that game, and there's a thing that happens when you play Dwarf Fortress where you start playing it and it's all just like text-based symbols, right? Like it's all text and it looks like fucking nothing. And then you slowly start to figure out what it is. And then the symbols that it uses work enough that once you know intuitively what's going on, it looks like you would think it would look like as you're playing it. Like, oh yeah, of course those sets of blue tildes are water. Like, why wouldn't they be? That's how you draw water. And so shit like that. And then inevitably what happens is the game is so good that you try to show it to somebody and they don't know what the fuck you're talking about because all they see is symbols. So, you know, here's Dwarf Fortress with graphics, and from the quick little trailer, it looks like it still moves this and like, you know, functions the same way Dwarf Fortress does. It's just graphics on top of it. So now you'll be able to show people like, yeah, this is Dwarf Fortress. This is what it looks like. This is the game that I put 700 hours into or something like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of us played it at some point and then it fell off. But we all have fond memories of it. But a lot of people played that game and didn't realize what it was, and don't remember playing Dwarf Fortress. You know, but then they'll look at it and get back into it and say, "Oh shit, yeah, I totally remember playing Dwarf Fortress."
I am definitely gonna play that game.
Yep. I'm sure I will too.
What else I got? Player Unknown himself is leaving Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
Leaving the game, not
leaving the game, not the
company.
He's moving to Amsterdam, where he's going to head up a new division of PUBG Corp called PUBG Special Projects, which is interesting because, you know, like his thing is Battle Royale. Like he started off as a modder for other games, inventing
for Arma, and I think DayZ came out of Arma, and then
it was Arma and DayZ came out of that, and then I believe he made the mod for H1Z1, the Battle Royale mod.
Yeah.
And then after that, he released Battlegrounds. So he's the guy. Like he made this genre. Like, you know, he didn't do really anything with Fortnite and nothing with Apex or any of those other games, but Ring of Elysium, all that stuff. But he's the guy that made that genre. Like it's him. Like there's not a lot of genres of games out there where you can point to a dude. You know what I mean? Like if you think like strategy games, like you think Sid Meier, but like that's kind of it. Like you don't really think of a person for like RPGs, or like there's not a person for racing games, right? But this is the dude. This is Player Unknown. But so he's moving to Amsterdam to head up a new company, and I'm very curious to see what comes out of the special projects. Because is he going to come up with like a new genre? Is he going to come up with the next thing? Like, oh yeah, you guys like Battle Royale, but check this shit out. Like I'm not that dude, so I can't even fake one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's interesting. Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, of course, is still like the second most popular game if you look at worldwide numbers in terms of, because they're huge in China, right?
Yeah, they're massive. What's number one? Is it Apex Legends or something? No.
I don't think it's Apex or Fortnite.
No, I don't think so either.
Probably League of Legends.
Yeah, more than likely. I'm doing a search for top games in the world.
My money's on League of Legends.
Yeah, more than likely. Okay.
Is it League of Legends?
I can't find it. Yeah.
What else I got? Halo: The Master Chief Collection is coming to PC/Steam.
Yeah, it is.
And then they're doing it weird because it's not coming as the Master Chief Collection, I guess. They're releasing the games in universe chronological order, so they're starting with Reach, and then I guess Halo 1, Halo 2, and so on.
They're starting with the best one, in other words.
I guess, yeah. I'm not a Halo guy, but I just thought this was crazy.
It's so good. Halo Reach is fucking awesome.
Because Halo was on PC originally, right? Like,
yeah,
didn't Halo
the first one. Yeah,
Halo 1 and maybe Halo 2 had PC releases.
Potentially, yeah.
But yeah, so people are very excited about that. When this got announced yesterday, there was a lot of information flying back and forth, like a lot of contradictory. Like some people were saying, "Oh, it's only coming out on Steam. They're skipping the Windows Store, but apparently it's going to be on the Windows Store." And then people were saying, "Oh, you need Xbox Live Gold to play online," and it's like apparently no. And then people were like, "No, you just need an Xbox account." It doesn't have to be gold. And then it was like, no, it's just a Microsoft account. It's not even an Xbox account. So it seems like they're doing it right. And it's come to Steam, which is huge for Steam because Steam's kind of getting the shit kicked out of them lately.
They sure as hell need it right now. Yeah.
It's a big get, but yeah, I don't think a release date has come out yet.
They said soon, right? All they said was soon.
Yeah, I think they said soon. I think there's maybe going to be a release date at what's that thing coming up next week? South by Southwest?
Yes. Yes. No, GDC, right? No,
GDC already happened, didn't it?
No, GDC is next week. GDC is next week because the week after that is PAX.
Right. So they said later this year. But yeah, so that's cool. I might play them. I've never been interested. Like Halo was never a system seller for me, so I've never really played. I've never had a chance. Like I was always a Gears guy on 360. But I mean, if it's on PC, fucking why not, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All the lawsuits against Fortnite have been dropped.
That's temporarily dropped.
Well, quote unquote, temporarily.
Yeah.
Basically, all the big lawsuits. So like 2 million, Alfonso Ribeira and like the Backpack Kid and whatever the other fucking one was. None of them had copyrights on their dances for whatever reason, like finished copyrights. So a judge ruled that they can't sue because their routines were, one, not copyrighted, and two, in some cases, not copyrightable. So all four of them have dropped their lawsuits. And the for now is that there's an IP lawyer out there saying like, oh, this isn't the end. Like they could finish the copyrights and sue again, but I mean, you're really gonna trust a lawyer on that? Like it's his job to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I were these guys, that I'd probably leave it at that. Like, you tried and that was it. But yeah, so yay for Fortnite.
Yeah. So there, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
I guess.
I don't really have a whole lot of other stories. I got a couple.
Go ahead.
Like EA skipping the press conference at E3 this year.
They're gonna do so. Supposedly they're doing like not a press conference, but they're going to be live streaming stuff on that Friday.
Yeah, I don't know. They're still doing like EA Play and all that stuff, but like I don't know. I mean, Nintendo figured this shit out years ago. Like they don't even do a press conference; they just do a big ass direct, right?
Yep.
So I mean,
less
I guess
chance of fucking up, and but it does sound like they're doing more of a like a live stream session. Remember what Sony did? In a weird way, they did it this year, but they've been doing it at their PSX.
Yeah,
where they'll just sit and live stream games. I mean, Nintendo does their Treehouse conference type of thing. So right after the Nintendo Direct at E3, they'll just sit and play the games for like 4 days straight. So
which works.
Yep.
Except like it's EA, they don't really have anything right now.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be showcasing Star Wars. I mean, and that's going to be showcased later. Was it next month, beginning of April or something?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's maybe they'll stream that. They'll stream Madden. It's probably part of me is thinking that it's probably because there just isn't any new.
They'll probably show a bunch of Apex.
They'll show whatever the new Apex stuff is, and whatever the new Titanfall experience supposedly is.
They'll probably show some Anthem stuff.
Probably. Anthem, and you don't need a press conference for that. You could just do the live stream. They might, however, appear in Microsoft's press conference. I could see them drop, but then at the same time, EA Play will have been over because EA Play is over. It's only that weekend, right? It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday this year instead of.
I do believe so. Yeah.
In the past, they would kick it off on Saturday, the press conference, and then EA Play would be Sunday and Monday, which overlaps. I mean, the Xbox press conference is Sunday morning, so then that gives any last-second reveals that EA needs to take place would happen at the Xbox press conference. But if it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday this year, then most of EA Play is done by the time Xbox goes live. Which this year, I would not be surprised if Microsoft does a press conference on on that Monday in Sony's spot.
Well, it's like Microsoft's the only one doing it this year, right? Like,
no, limited run games is doing a mini press conference, but theirs is more of a direct style. Devolver Digital does their own little direct style thing. Nobody really watches either of those things. But
Bethesda probably will have something.
I don't think Bethesda will have a press conference this year because last year it was scaled down quite a bit. Remember, it was like in that weird hangar. The year before, the 2 years before that, the 3 years before that, Bethesda had these giant press events.
Well, they did the whole like Bethesda World thing, right?
Yeah, the Bethesda Land. Then they had the year before that, it was an underground bunker concert. And the year before that, they had something giant. But last year, they kept it really kind of small and only to a few hundred people instead of, a few thousand.
The press conference last year was really good.
It was great. It was fantastic. Yeah. But, Starfield still isn't ready to be shown, I don't think. It's not coming out this year, so why show it? No. Really, their only game is Doom Eternal.
Yeah, they probably don't want to have a Fallout 76 anywhere near a press conference.
Nope, they'll probably do updates to Fallout. I mean, I think they're trying to salvage Fallout 76, so they'll do updates to that, and they maybe, I don't know, I could see them doing a remaster of Fallout 3 in New Vegas together this year. But I mean, we'll get to that. We'll get to our predictions in a few weeks here. But I actually don't think that they'll have a press conference. I think with EA no longer having a press conference, Sony not having a press conference, Ubisoft has a ton of stuff that they could showcase. I don't think Square has anything that's worthy of a press conference because remember they had a press conference for a couple of years in a row there that was really bad both times.
Yeah.
And what else is there? Nintendo has their Direct on Tuesday morning, so
that's pretty much it, right?
Pretty much it. I mean, the PC gaming show, I guess, right? Who cares about that? But
Activision Blizzard's got dick all right now.
They got nothing coming out. Sekiro is their only actual interesting thing in Call of Duty. Crash Team Racing comes out before E3, so
yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, it's I actually am I'm not heading to E3 this year. This is I didn't go like 2-3 years ago. Monetary reasons this time, but I don't feel bad not going this year. Usually, the 1 year I did stay home about 3 years ago, I think it was. I still took those days off and just hung out at the house and reported from there, which was totally fine, good way to do it. But I feel kind of bad for E3 this year because there's not going to be a lot of stuff there.
E3 ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah.
So and like we're on a downswing. It was
great last year. E3 was great last year. Fantastic.
My hope with this downswing is that they move away from the whole public thing. Like that's always seemed like just such a bad idea to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a trade show.
Yeah.
It's a trade show and it's a big deal because it's a trade show that the press attend and cover. But the whole idea of like it was never a show built for the public. It's not a PAX.
So yes, correct. Totally. And I think part of the problem is I forget who it was from, Sean Layman, I think may have said this on a podcast recently because somebody asked him point blank, why are you guys moving away from E3 this year? And he actually brought up that even though they're moving away from E3, they're still doing an event for retail. But that's got to be earlier than June. Because remember, E3 was meant to be this retail and business partner focused stuff for the rest of the year, for the fall. But that stuff's got to be nailed a lot earlier these days. And June is almost too late for preparing campaigns. Because now if you announce a game in June, you need a lot more time to you almost don't have enough time to build it up because it could get lost in a lot of the shuffle. And they're seeing that with the way games are marketed right now. You have to sign up a lot of those marketing sponsorships and tie-ins and stuff. Product, all that stuff takes a lot longer now.
Well, more than that,
the breadth of it. So I think that was Sean's or Sony's quote unquote excuse, I guess. But
I mean, more than that, like E3 worked in a world where games didn't come out half the year, and now, like you know, like 5 years ago, even if a game came out in March,
It was rare.
Like,
Yeah.
It was rare, and you were worried that it was being dumped out by the publisher to hit the end of the financial quarter. Like, oh, they're throwing this out there to try and make a quick buck. Like, oh, they're not going to promote it. Like, oh, there's barely any advertising. Now games come out all year. Like, like it's totally normal. So having a show in June to promote the fall lineup, like, it doesn't need to be that big. Because the fall lineup's not that big anymore. Like, obviously, still a lot of stuff is going to come out in November and October and lead up to Christmas because, you know, Christmas, but it's not what it used to be.
Correct. And I could actually see, if anything, I could see companies, maybe this is something that would work better, is pushing E3 earlier in the year to a March or April, right around the time of the financial results. And in fact, I could almost see an E3 taking place at the beginning of March.
Yeah, I was about to say.
If all these companies need their financial results to come in at the end of March, for their financial year, beginning of April, they need some type of boost to have investors interested. And June is a dead time, totally a dead time for investors.
If you took E3 and moved it to, like, when does Q4 end? Third week March?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. If you moved it to, like, first week April, then here's our lineup for the year.
Yeah.
All four quarters.
Yep.
And because of the way everything works now, here's shit coming out all four quarters. Like, yeah.
I can see that. Totally can see it. Right now, E3 is built for September, October, November, and then maybe September through December, and maybe something in January, February. So you're only getting half the year at most.
And then everything else is stuff that's not coming out at all that in the next year.
Yep.
But yeah, like, it's built. E3 exists for a market that doesn't exist anymore because the market changed.
Yep.
So
one of the things we're doing with that's happening here in Detroit is we have the Detroit Auto Show, the North American International Auto Show, and it used to be at one point one of, if not the biggest auto shows in the world. Massive, definitely the biggest in North America and in the Western Hemisphere. But that changed as the production schedule started changing and cars started changing and how people buy cars started changing. And the auto show kept kind of not shrinking, but over the last couple of years, you've seen companies pull out of the show. Like Porsche doesn't come anymore, and Mercedes doesn't show up anymore, and Audi and BMW were gone this year, which is big for, they're like mainstays at all these auto shows. And so what they've kind of found out in the Detroit area is really the best time to have an auto show is October. And if you don't have one in October, you look at June, end of May, beginning of June, because at least at that point, you're setting up the rest of the year for the automotive industry, which is different than the electronics industry, obviously. But you're also spacing yourself out from CES, which is the biggest show on the planet, and that's not going to move for a dinky little auto show. CES being the Consumer Electronics Show. And so they moved the biggest auto show in North America next year, 2020, it's going to be in June for this specific reason that it just didn't line up anymore. I mean, it had been there for 25, 20, 30 years in January, and they said, weather shitty also, but let's move it to June when things are better for the market and for cars. And I think the same thing can be said for E3, where
there's a fine line. There's a fine line, right? Like you can't change it every year.
Right.
But E3's changed locations twice.
This is the third location it's been in, but it's I think it started in Atlanta the first couple E3s, and then it went to Los Angeles, and then it left Los Angeles and went to like Santa Clara for those weird hotel years. Remember that? Those 2 years, like 2006, 2007, and then it went back to LA Auditorium, the convention center. That's where it's been for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
But maybe it's time to move it, at least date wise.
The very first one was in LA.
Oh, was it? And then it went to
LA, and then Atlanta, and then So the location's fine. It's just maybe it's time to change when it is.
Exactly.
Speaking of things changing when they are, Death Stranding's a little behind schedule.
I love the response to this one.
Yeah, it's been reported all over the place, like everything is. This is an article from Joe Screbbles from IGN. who was reporting on a translated interview with Kojima. Kojima said, "It's common for studios to fall behind their planned release date, and Death Stranding is very slightly behind our initial plan, but not behind by much." And then the article goes on to point out that Kojima was hinting the game would be out before 2019. It's now 2019. The game's not out. So, yeah, it's probably a little behind.
Yep.
Of course, now the question is, does it come out before the end of 2019?
I don't think so. I think at all.
I think my prediction when we talked about it before was that it would be out in 2019. That was still when it was people were suggesting maybe it will come out in 2018. I'm sticking by it. I think it'll be out. I think it'll be out November 2019.
I think it's too. I think what we're getting this year is Last of Us 2. I think that game is very near completion, and they've been. It feels like they've been holding it for the end of this this lifespan of the PS4. So I think that's coming out this year. Last of Us 2, that'll be their big kind of tentpole game, and then 2020 when that launches around, you're getting the PS5. I think you'll get the PS5 real early in 2020. I think February or March. That sucker's coming in, and that's when you'll get, you'll get Death Stranding, and it'll be forward compatible in you'll get Death Stranding around that time. You'll get Last of Us 2, and that'll be forward compatible. So you'll buy the game on the PS4. But hey, if you play it on the PS5, it'll actually play better and look better, and yada yada yada.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, and I think that's what's gonna happen. I think Death Stranding is behind, but I think at this point they've just said, let's just put it on PS5 and get that ball rolling early. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. Anything else? I have one, actually.
I do have one more.
Go ahead.
So Judgment, the Yakuza spin-off game, where you play as a hard-boiled, street-level detective solving crime in the same city district as the Yakuza games take place in. Sega halted their sales. They put a freeze on the physical copies and pulled the digital ones because one of the VOs was caught using cocaine, and drug use is very, very, very bad in Japan. But yeah, so there's no information yet on whether that will affect the English release of the game because obviously different VOs. But yeah, the craziest part is I'm pretty sure it wasn't even the main character. It's not like the main dude. It's just like it's just a character. But that dude's getting like 7 years.
Oh man,
he's going to prison for like 7 years for using cocaine. I'm pretty sure.
So this is the trouble with having a voice actor, or having a game that really kind of takes on motion capture and likenesses of actors and stuff, and that if something bad happens, it's screwed.
I mean, there's a whole controversy around it. Because I didn't go into the other side of it, just because like people are up in arms because there's been other people involved with stuff. There was a dude who got caught with like a shitload of child porn in Japan, like quantities that suggested intent to distribute, like took multiple people lugging boxes of it out of his office, and he got like a slap on the wrist and went underground for like 6 months, and everybody forgave him. And then this dude got caught using coke, and he's, potentially looking at a 7-year jail sentence. There's a whole controversy around it. I just thought it was funny because it's a fucking Yakuza spinoff game, and like, yeah, of course, like you would associate like the Japanese mafia with drug use.
Oh boy!
But yeah, so yeah, like that game's been sales of that game has been frozen. So I don't know what'll happen. I don't know what'll happen over here in the West. That game was selling. It launched in December in Japan, so it's not like the game's not out there. But yeah.
And they've pulled it, right, from Japan, or no?
So they've frozen it. So they're recalling. I believe they're recalling all physical copies, and they've pulled all the digital. Wow. So you can't buy it right now.
That is a collector's item.
Yep. That game was scheduled to launch. That game was scheduled to launch in English-speaking countries in June. So we're like a month and a half away from it, assuming it was going to come out. But yeah. Do I have anything else? I guess. Well, what was yours? I got one more, but
okay. I was going to throw one out there. Apparently, EA paid Ninja $1 million to stream Apex Legends. Was that what you were going to get into?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah. This one's all you.
Apparently, EA dropped a cool $1 million on Ninja to get him to play Apex Legends, and really kind of pumped that ad side. This is a Game Informer who's quoting Reuters, who themselves cite an anonymous source. Basically, Tyler Blevins, aka Ninja, received a payment of around $1 million.
Hi, Ninja.
Hi, Ninja. Good to talk to you again, for playing Apex Legends and tweeting about the game. And you kind of see his tweets are all, he has the hashtag ad on for all the Apex Legends. They had that whole influencer thing. Remember, way back at the beginning of February, they had all those folks come in and play, and so there you go. It's it's legit, as long as I guess he was tweeting about it correctly. He knows the FTC rules. And so he seems to be doing it right, but holy shit! I mean, that's a lot of fucking money. Just talk about a game.
If I understand the dynamic correctly, his wife is also his business manager, and like she's on the fucking ball for this stuff. So I'm sure he did it all right. But yeah, it wasn't just Ninja. He's just the one that the numbers come out for. Like Shroud was paid as well.
Yep.
And a bunch of the other ones. And the interesting thing is, as far as anybody can tell, this was the first like coordinated usurping of all of the top Twitch channels.
Yeah, man. EA threw money in the right spot.
Yeah, and as I understand it, fucking don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly sure that they were paid these amounts, whatever each individual was paid, just for the first day. They were only paid to play it on launch day.
Yeah, that's I believe that was correct, because I've heard that rumor as well, or that talk as well, because they did push these guys all for that first day, and then you saw that them tail off a little bit after that. But man, hey, kids, there's money in playing video games just for one day's worth of work.
Yeah,
good lord. But
yeah,
there you go.
Speaking of those guys, Shroud, he had a pretty serious accident.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
Yeah, he was in a scooter accident. Busted his arm up really bad, and had surgery for it.
Wow.
So for anybody who's watching I'm pretty sure it was Shroud. Yeah. It was his non-dominant arm though. Like it was his keyboard hand, not his mouse hand. So I'm sure once he's recovered, he'll be back streaming. But yeah, he had an accident and had surgery, and apparently the surgery went well. So yeah.
All right. Well, good. Hopefully there's a healing taking place there. That's good.
Absolutely. And all the best to him. And I hope he makes a 100% recovery.
Yep.
Having said that, I'm very interested to check out his numbers.
How that changes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like streaming is a cutthroat business.
Oh yeah.
Like you miss a day and you lose people like permanently sometimes. You got to be on there like every single day. And if he's out for recovery, it'll be interesting to see, because he's I think he's got more subscriptions than Ninja does. Here's a free business idea. There is tons of money in training people to stream regularly and manage their output for this kind of stuff, knowing that a lot of folks don't realize that if they're streaming, that if they miss a day, on their schedule, they'll lose people. So a lot of these folks need to be, I guess, media trained, or whatever the term would be, much like how TV anchors and folks like that are specifically trained to do their jobs and do things a certain way. There's training that there's a business around getting streamers and influencers to do things regularly and kind of follow their follow almost a set structure, schedule.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean,
There's a $1 million idea. There's your ninja level idea there.
That's 100% true, and also maybe the worst facet of capitalism I can think of right now. Like, what if we did the other thing where we trained audiences to not expect content 12 hours a day every single day?
Yep.
But yeah.
That's anyway, right now people expects all that kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one I had was just the fact that it was that Valve not selling that game.
Yeah. Artifact.
Which, the fucking rape game.
The rape game. Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Everybody's talking about it. Who gives a shit? I just think it's interesting because it's interesting that Valve will curate when there's a big enough kerfuffle about something. Even though Valve claims like, oh, we're hands off. It's like, well, just be one or the other.
Yeah, pick one.
Like, I'm not advocating for this game. I'm glad it's not being sold. But if you're gonna fucking step in and actually moderate your shit, because it's not like that's the only game on there that's awful.
Yeah. So. I mean, Epic Games is clearly stating right now what they're trying to do, and they're cut. And that's why you're seeing. I mean, we just had more shit announced today, right? You're getting all this stuff pop in with the everyone's moving over to Epic because they know their shit. And Valve and Steam got so big and so I don't want to say uncontrolled, but they weren't checking themselves.
They got too bloated.
They got far too bloated and let anything on there. And that can be good to let like a lot of smaller indie groups and developers, I should say, get on there. And
well, now that was the reasoning originally, right?
Yeah. But at the same time,
that was why it ended up like this, because people accused Steam of being too much of a closed garden, and so indies couldn't get a foothold in there, and so that was why this blew up the way it did. Now it's like, all right, we'll let everybody on, and like that's great for indies, except now there's so many indie games that maybe not so great for indies.
Yeah. I think curation is good. I think that's another whole other topic of discussion of how to build a good marketplace. And as great as Epic is, there's not a bajillion games on Epic yet. And I think when that thing gets giant, I'm very curious to see how they're gonna structure that going forward when they actually do get things moving there. But yeah, surprisingly a lot of news this week for just a couple of us to talk to. So. Yeah. But
that's everything I had. That's all. Excellent. That's all the news that exists.
There's
nothing else happened.
No other news. Nothing else happened. Yeah. So it's it is a Wednesday night right now. Next week, I think we're gonna have a show next week, and the week after that, we might record the night before PAX. So maybe that Tuesday actually. So we got a couple weeks yet, but we'll be at PAX. We're taking lots of submissions right now. There's so many freaking appointments being sent our way to take a look at cool indie games and stuff. So if you are a listener and you work at a game dev and you're going to be at PAX East, or if you're just going to be at PAX East and want to hang out, let us know. We'll be doing sort of pre 10th birthday celebrations. And the week we get back from PAX, here is the announcement. On Friday, April 5th, I'm checking my schedule, making sure that that date is correct. Friday, April 5th is our official 10th birthday for SideQuesting. 10 years old we've been doing this shit. What is wrong with us? We're going to have a pretty big live show going on that day. We might be starting around 7-ish, 7:30, 8 o'clock. We'll see when everyone gets home from the office and work. And we might go in late into the night chatting with people.
I love the fact that I threw a bunch of ideas at you, and I have no intention of helping implement any of them. Nope. I was just like, hey, here's some ideas. All right, I'm out.
Here's an idea. Do it this, piece. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And we're going to have more. We're going to have lots of stuff. I am promising giveaways. I'm promising special guests, which are confirmed, and I'm promising a bunch of stuff. So be ready. I think it could be a really fun time celebrating 10 freaking years of doing side questing. It's kind of insane. We've lasted longer than a lot of websites have. Websites have popped up and disappeared in the time that we have been running.
We lasted longer than 1UP.
Yeah, we lasted longer than 1UP. We lasted
longer than Joystick.
Yep, joystick never made it to 10 years. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I like to think we're older than Polygon. We will forever be older than Polygon
by quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll forever be older by Polygon.
I mean, Polygon's what, 3 years now? I think.
No, they're like 6 years. I think at least. Yeah.
Polygon website.
2012.
Yeah.
2012. Yeah. So there you go. They're about 7 years old. So they're
fuck.
still 3 years younger than us. We'll be driving them around because we're going to turn 16 first. But yeah, we're hitting double digits, so it'll be a fun time. We'll have cake. Anyways, but you can find out more info as it goes live in the next week or so here on SideQuesting.com. And you can find us individually at SideQuesting. Yeah, as Zach just posted the Ninja article at SideQuesting TV on the Twitch and the YouTube. I'll get us on the Twitch. I'm gonna spend time this weekend focusing on the Twitches and figuring out how to get this thing up and running. And we'll go from there. You can find us individually. I'm at Dolly Domofsky. Where can we find you, Aaron?
I'm at Scratty Bones on Twitch and Twitter. I haven't been streaming. I have not been streaming because I've been sick and I'm not really playing anything right now.
Yeah.
That might change.
It's like a weird time because Devil May Cry 5 just came out. Neither you nor I are playing it, but I really want to play it because I may be the only person on staff that loved 4. I thought it was my first time ever playing a Devil May Cry game. So, which is great because every Devil May Cry, if that's one of the worst 2, then every Devil May Cry game that I play is going to be better than that. So I'm actually positive for that.
Very true.
Yep. And I enjoyed it. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next SideQuest Live. I want to thank you. Peace. Love ya.